TWM Podcast.
This day, I see clearly everything is come to life. I've literally watched that moment about 150 times. Like, I just cannot get it out of my head, and we've only 4 days removed from the Rumble. And I know this is an NXT and AEW podcast, but I want to give my appreciation to the man named Adam Copeland, obviously known as Edge, because he is like my all-time favourite wrestler, and he's the man that dragged me into wrestling, kept me into wrestling, and got me to where I currently am today. Yeah, he'll forever sit atop my WWE's Mount Rushmore. But yeah. Brad is with me as always. How you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you. I agree. Edge coming back was great, and your rendition of Alter Bridge's Metalingus was beautiful.
Thank you. I was having a look at the download lineup earlier, and Alter Bridge are there, so I may just go just to listen to them do Metalingus and leave. And Kill Switch Engage are there as well, so I might just go over there just to hear them do this Fire Burns and leave. Hopefully.
Yeah. You could just watch two shows of NXT UK every day. I appreciate the message I got. What days NXT UK on? It's on every day.
Yeah, I'm contemplating going. There's a lot of good bands there, and obviously NXT UK is there. So, yeah, I thought I'd ask Bradley Spin before. Episode number 17 of the Wednesday Night Was podcast. Don't forget to subscribe to us on iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, TuneIn, Acast, Podbean, YouTube, and anywhere you do get your podcast from. And something new, we have a sponsor. Guys, head over to... Well, I'll introduce them first. We Love Sport. It's a fantastic app and a fantastic people. I got to meet one of the guys involved on Sunday at a Rumble party, and it's basically an app that shows you your nearest nearest bars and stuff like that. You know, showing WWE pay-per-views. I was at one in Shoreditch, and I think it's called Old Street Bar and Grill, and it was absolutely awesome. They do quizzes, cosplay contests and stuff like that. I was always with Hooked on Events. Obviously, you might have seen them on the bump because the guy that was in the Glasgow one was there. But yeah. Over 400 of the best sports bars in the UK at your fingertips, and you can always book from our receipts so you don't ever miss a thing. Download We Love Sport app on App Store or Google Play, and also follow them on all social media at We Love Sport UK, and do check out their website, welovesport.co. And also go check out our newest sponsor, WrestleCrate. Use a code TWM Wrestling for a free autographed item when you do sign up for your monthly box. If you feel, if you're lucky enough, you might get an autograph off me as well. Do use the website wrestlecrate.co.uk, and it is .co.uk because Brexit means Brexit. Let's get into it.
Am I jumping the gun here on something, by the way? I've just noticed we've launched a brand new YouTube 13 minutes ago on our Twitter. We've announced a YouTube channel. All of our podcasts. All right, fair. Well, yes, all our podcasts 6 times a week, unboxing, wrestling, and more. Just to add to your introduction at the beginning. So yeah, definitely check us out on YouTube as well.
Cool. NXT. We have a number one contender for the NXT World Champion. I'm going to call it World Championship because I feel like it. William Regal announced that he was going to announce to all of us who the number one contender was. Obviously, Tommaso Ciampa has been absolutely vying for this title and to get Goldie back. He is in a backstage interview in which he pulls out a baseball bat. A little bit later on, we see the 3 other members of Undisputed Era, obviously not Adam Cole, Fish, O'Reilly, and Strong, all laid out by Ciampa as he walks past and just drops a baseball bat on the floor, heads to the ring, picks up a table, puts it in the ring and sprays a big yellow X on it. Cole comes out and, he says, who are you? Like, who do you think you are? And his response is, Goldie's daddy. Because that is just perfect. Cole...
Daddy's home.
I
was just saying daddy's home.
Yeah, it's just, I just love him. I love Ciampa. Cole hits Ciampa with a cheap shot, but Ciampa hits a boot on him, powerbombs Cole through the table, and signs a contract with blood that was dripping down his forehead because Ciampa is the Fiend.
I love the blood angle though. Like they rarely do blood in WWE, so just to see something that brutal on NXT was quite shocking, to be fair.
Well, I mean, they black and white the picture out on their Instagram, I believe.
Oh right, yeah, but I mean, like, just the fact that they've got blood. I assume it's not a blade job, but like I've not seen blood in WWE for many years, like intentionally in a storyline. The last time I think that there's ever been blood was at SummerSlam, so to see that was crazy, and to see the table spot was also intense.
It was all good.
If they have a hardcore, I wish that their match would be turned into a hardcore match, because them two would just be brutal against each other at Portland.
Yeah, I think or maybe even like a ladder match or something like that, like Goldie hanging above the ring.
Definitely, yeah.
Pretty cool.
You need to get the tables involved though, especially with the way you just slammed him through that one.
I think that'll become a recurring thing. I think that's what's going to happen at some point. Is next week Adam Cole's going to retaliate with a chair, and then a ladder somewhat gets involved after they announce it's a TLC match or something like that. And I think that'll actually be the first TLC match in NXT.
I believe so. I can't name you an NXT TLC match. No, I can't really name you a TLC match outside of TLC for many years. But yeah, carry on.
And obviously Edge has come back, and TLC is his thing, so it's just sort of it all aligns very well, and that sort of thing. And this has just had one of the best builds ever. It's just been Ciampa hunting Adam Cole down relentlessly until he got his shot, and which he does at NXT Takeover Trees or Portland.
Definitely, yeah. Well, it's hopefully made for you being upset that it wasn't Keith Lee going into that position. Hopefully, Tommaso Ciampa is a good replacement for yourself.
Yeah, no, I love Ciampa. I think he's fantastic. And I still can't get the image out of my head of him and Gargano at Worlds Collide when they just both drop to the apron, start clapping, patting themselves on the back, and then Ciampa sort of just hugs Gargano.
Definitely.
So, one of my favourite gifts. We had the finals of the Dusty Classic last night. The Broserweights going 2-on-2 with the Grizzled Young Vets, and the Broserweights obviously did win because it's the Broserweights, and Pete Dunne is more or less Triple H's illegitimate son.
That surprised me, to be fair, that result for that match. Obviously, we can go into the actual match in a second, but after what Matt Riddle and Brock Lesnar got into at the Royal Rumble, like they forgave him very quickly.
Have you heard the reports about actually what happened?
Yeah, he said basically they went into the ring, I think, and told them not to slag off main roster talent on social media. But he was saying, Brock Lesnar said, I can't remember the exact phrasing, but
Lesnar says, "Stop calling me out. It's never going to happen."
Yeah, and he
called him boy.
He called him a shit as well, or something.
Yeah, I think he called him boy. But apparently, when they went in and told the NXT superstars to not call out main roster's talent without their consent, all the NXT stars just laughed.
Yeah, well,
I think he's just brilliant.
Of course, yeah. But the match itself was incredible. Outside of that day would have been my predicted result. And yeah, this is obviously leading to a tag team championship match at NXT TakeOver Portland.
Yeah, which is what they got for winning.
Yep, and that match will be incredible. The Undisputed Era versus the Broserweights will be one of the better matches of that show, I think.
And NXT TakeOver Portland is the downfall of the Undisputed Era, because I'm saying this now that I can see Fish and O'Reilly losing. I can see Cole losing. I can see Roderick Strong being ousted from the Undisputed Era and the Raw after WrestleMania. Cole, Fish, and Gargano. Cole, Fish, and O'Reilly will be on Raw.
Well, it's a bit far in advance for that though, because that's not until April. That's about 2 months after. So
yeah, I think it just gives them a nice little slow build, sort of a nice way of them to say goodbye to NXT for that period, and that obviously gives them a chance for Roddy to be left behind in a sense, because he lost first and he's the weak link, and you know how narcissistic Cole's character is, and that yes, they all lost, but Roddy lost first.
So you think Roddy will stay on NXT then?
Yeah, and I think Ciampa wants to stay on NXT. He's already turned around and said, "I'm not going to main roster," as has Gargano. So I think Roddy will stay, and it obviously gives him a chance to excel a little bit more as a solo star.
Oh, definitely, yeah. But yeah.
Also on last night, we've got a lovely little build based on Worlds Collide. after Finn Balor defeated Ilya Dragunov and after Mustache Mountain lost to DIY. Finn Balor attacked Johnny Gargano backstage in an actual, it looked like a foyer of a hotel. It actually looked like a backstage part. Tyler Bate got involved to separate the two of them. Before NXT started this week, Finn Balor attacked Trent Seven. So Trent Seven and Finn Balor went one-on-one. And I think that just is beautifully tied in that Tyler got involved in Balor's business with Gargano, so Balor is just going to attack Bate's best friend.
Oh, definitely, yeah. It was quite a hard-hitting match, but yeah, it was quite a long match, to be fair, for the two of them. Like going over a commercial break and going like about 6 or 7 minutes. I assumed that Trent would actually would be squashed by Finn in this, but they gave him quite a lot of resiliency, which, I
think everyone just anticipates he's going to get squashed, don't they?
Definitely. I think because he's a tag team wrestler, like obviously Tyler Bate isn't, because he was the NXT UK champion, but Trent Seven's only ever been associated with Tyler Bate. Seeing him get a decent amount of TV time is good for him, I think. Yeah. Obviously he's the most experienced one out of that tag team, and Finn Balor and him, I thought, created a very fun back and forth match that was definitely worth a check out if you get time to watch it.
Definitely. And it ties in so nicely that Balor is now just attacking anyone that gets in his way. Or obviously this will set up him versus Tyler Bate at some point. The storytelling for Finn Balor at the minute is just perfect. He's playing the best heel because he's just being a little bit ruthless and a little bit.
Do you see Tyler Bate getting involved when he goes against Johnny Gargano then?
Nah, I don't think that they'll tie in that much.
Right, okay, so this is like building up for Mania sort of time.
Yeah.
All right, fair enough.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, I'm thinking something like that. Shotzi Blackheart has a fucking tank. She came out on NXT in a tank. An actual tank as well, not a DX tank.
It was something that's a bit incredible for weekly TV, though. Yeah, I think they should have saved something like that for the pay-per-view. But I guess it gives Shotzi Blackheart something of a standard, and she hasn't really done anything of note since she's debuted for WWE. So giving her this sort of gimmick, it's pushing her in the right direction.
Yeah, exactly. And I also kind of think piss take on Sammy Guevara because he invaded the site of the Royal Rumble in one of those little tanks.
Oh yeah. But,
I think it was a bit of a piss take kind of thing because it's very, very similar. But yeah, and she won. She beat Deonna Purrazzo, who attacked her last week.
Yeah, well, I mean, Deonna Purrazzo is somewhat down the food chain of NXT, but it's a start for Shotzi Blackheart, and hopefully she, because obviously Shayna Baszler, who we all predicted last week would win the Royal Rumble, didn't. So hopefully she and Shayna have a bit of a rivalry going forwards, because that's where I see naturally this going. Yeah,
exactly. No, I think this will lead to a nice couple of a nice little series between the two of them, and Shotzi, I think, will go up in the rankings in a sense and go towards the NXT champion, the NXT championship. It's not the women's championship anymore. It's just the NXT championship. Dominik Dijakovic confronted former partner and frenemy, I'm going to call him frenemy, Keith Lee, regarding the NXT North American Championship, which set up Dominik Dijakovic versus Damian Priest, in which Big Dom did win. We also got the blow-off match between Tegan Nox and Dakota Kai, and would you believe it, Captain Kota lost.
Yep,
because that was... Tegan Nox got vicious.
Yeah, but Tegan Nox getting vicious is something that's just... It's grit behind the teeth. Like, women in WWE, I have said this for a while, have been very tame. Besides, like, the big four and perhaps Shayna, seeing someone else take that grit behind her with Tegan Nox is something that is going to be quite entertaining going forwards. And to see her as, sort of a vicious, competitor is something that's beneficial for NXT.
Oh, definitely, yeah. She's getting more of a character as well, and it's just nice to see like this feud. Obviously, this isn't going to be the end of the feud. This is going to carry on for quite a while. But yeah, I was just quite surprised that Dakota Kai lost. I thought she would have won.
Yeah. What about with the chair though? With Candice LeRae coming out, like seeing her go crazy with a chair. But Candice LeRae and Dakota Kai, do you see them going for the tag team championships, like the two of them? Because obviously they can still be defended in NXT.
Kota and Tegan and Candice, did you say?
No. Like, yeah, of course, yeah. Tegan and Candice, yeah.
No, I don't really think so. I don't know. It'd be interesting to see if they did or not.
Obviously, backing up Tegan in this, so yeah, definitely.
Oh yeah, well maybe they'll give it a shot. I mean, it's kind of unknown what the hell's going to happen to Asuka at the minute after Rumble, but I'm sure it'll all get revealed. I wouldn't be against them going for the tag titles. I don't see them winning, but I can see them going for it.
Yeah. Anyway, before the next match came up, this vignette for something happening on 2nd of the 5th, 20. What did you make of that?
Velveteen Dream.
Yeah, definitely.
Got to be his return.
I hope so, because Velveteen Dream is an incredible athlete. He's a brilliant performer. Yeah. When he comes back, it'll be one of the better returns for NXT. Yeah,
massively. I'm very excited to see him back. Very excited to see him back because he's been massively missed. But like you say, it's one of those characters you just haven't seen for a long time, and he's very different. Very, very different in terms of a character. But the final match we got last night was Kaden Carter defeating Chelsea Green, which I find really weird, considering the fact how much Chelsea Green has kind of been put out there. She signed with Robert Stone, his group. Then we got her appearance at Worlds Collide, just in the crowd. Then she was in the Royal Rumble, and I just assumed this was leading to her winning. But Kaden Carter actually beat her, which I'm quite surprised about.
Yeah, well, I mean, I can sort of see a reason for it in the respect that Chelsea Green might come back more vicious and more wanting to take over from a few losses. But hopefully, because I trust Triple H more than I trust anyone else in WWE. Chelsea Green.
No. What are you on about? Shane McMahon helped book the Royal Rumble. Come on, you got to trust him.
Well, the first half of that match could have gone in the bin, but the rest of it was good. Drew winning was enjoyable, but yeah, with Chelsea Green, I can see it becoming like sort of a vicious, retaliating sort of, a sore loser basically.
She's got that really good demeanour, doesn't she? Yeah,
well, I mean, she's got Robert Stone. What is he? He's like he's a trainer or he's a
manager, I think. He's like what was that guy's name? He made the really controversial rape joke.
I have no idea.
Oh my god, his name's really banking me. He used to just sit with a microphone in his hand at ringside. He was a manager, but it was kind of like Abraham Washington.
Oh, Abraham Washington. No, but he's nothing like him. He was like a late night talk show host. Are you sure you're on about the same person?
I think Abraham Washington is also one of the presidents of America. Oh my god, it's really going to bug me. I'll figure out who it is.
The one that was with Tony Atlas.
No. He it was like mid 2000s, and he was like a hype man for.
He was with Tony Atlas and Mark Henry. He used to have a talk show on ECW. That's who you're on about. That's the person's name who you're on about. Yeah, it might not be who you're thinking of, but that's who the guy is that you're citing.
No. Thank you. That's sorry, Matt's just been in my ear. He's just made me realise who we're talking about. It was regarding Titus O'Neil and the Kobe Bryant thing. Rest in peace, Kobe.
Bob Backlund. Bob Backlund.
No. That was Darren Young. I actually do mean Abraham Washington, because he was like a hype man. He was like, I'm going to book you for this and do this. And that's kind of like what Robert Stone is, because he's like, I'm booking Chelsea for this. We're going here. This sort of stuff. He's a manager, but he's also like her personal assistant in a sense. Agent, yeah, that's it.
So what?
That kind of role thing. So I think it'd be good for her, because she can become like a Charlotte in a sense of just protected royalty, because she can act like a celebrity and act famous because her boyfriend was once a tag team champion.
Definitely. Do you want the matches for next week before we carry on to AEW?
Yeah, let's do some NXT news.
Okay, well, we've got Rhea Ripley and Bianca Belair will take place in a face-to-face segment.
And that's going to obviously end in a brawl.
Yep. Jordan Devlin, has been announced for next week's NXT. He is currently the NXT Cruiserweight Champion.
I still can't believe that.
I'm so happy about that, but yeah.
Oh, my.
And 2 videos aired around the 2nd of the 5th 20, which you seem to think will be Velveteen Dream.
Velveteen Dream. Deep up
We've just got to wait and see what happens with that. Hopefully it is, because seeing him back would be incredible.
Definitely. So before we move on to AEW, have you heard the rumour that Charlotte will be going for the NXT Women's title, the NXT title, as her Royal Rumble win?
I have, but I've not heard it from anything substantial as of yet. But yeah, if that does happen, that would be a first. I think they take like a declaration for it will be next week. Yeah. But I think NXT should be on the WrestleMania anyway. Bearing in mind that it's now considered a main roster brand from Survivor Series, I assume anyway. So to see like the NXT champions fight, even if it's on the pre-show or sort of early on in the card at WrestleMania, would be a big step up for them, I think.
Brad, WrestleMania last year was 8 hours long. Add NXT into it, it's going to be 10 hours.
Yeah, but 2 hours of that was just Booker T sitting in a room saying "shucky ducky quack quack." We can have a few more matches.
Yeah, that's a fair point. Less David Otunga, more NXT wrestlers.
TWM podcasts are brought to you by We Love Sport, the fantastic app finding you your nearest sports bar showing the latest WWE pay-per-views. We Love Sport has over 400 of the best sports bars and pubs in the UK at your fingertips and allows you to book front row seats, giving you the best views of the action. You can also check out what sports are being shown over the next 7 days, making sure you don't miss a second of the action. Download the We Love Sport app on the App Store or Google Play Store. Follow We Love Sport on all social media platforms at We Love Sport UK and check out welovesport.co.
And on to AEW. Before we get in, Brad, what is your opinion on AEW approaching Edge before he decided to go to WWE, be in the Rumble?
I mean, well, they knew something about his physical state that most people didn't know. So they've it might not be the case, but I've got my conspiracy hat on. I think they've got talks with some of the talent relations in WWE somewhat.
Yeah, maybe. I just want AEW to stop going for legends and focus on the youth and talent that they've got.
They've only got one. You've only got 1 or 2 legends, though. I mean, Pac isn't a legend, but like you've got John Moxley,
like people like Billy Gunn and like him being on the show, Arn Anderson.
These are one-off things, bar Tully Black, I think. So it doesn't bother me too much.
Maybe I'm not too sure. And the other news, before we get into this, the other news I heard. Chris Jericho wanted Will Ospreay to come to AEW for some certain dates and work a program with him, but Will Ospreay said no, and I'm really upset about that.
I mean that was going, but Will Ospreay and Jericho would be it can still happen, just not in AEW.
No, it should be in New Japan.
Yeah, it can happen in New Japan. Yeah, definitely.
Well, speaking of Jericho, his and Moxie's rivalry took an extra step. John Moxley came out through the crowd wearing the eye patch, as he has been doing recently. So the fun and games were over once he was stabbed in the eye by Jericho, and Jericho's the only thing standing in his way from reaching the top. Obviously, at Revolution, they will go one-on-one for the AEW World Championship. He runs down things that Jericho's done, including a couple of WWE references, stealing Rey Mysterio's mask and hitting a woman, which was Shawn Michaels' wife. That was accidental. I'll defend Jericho on that one. That was an accident. He calls Jericho a manipulator, a coward, and a bully, and he doesn't like bullies, because who likes a bully, eh? Jericho comes out on his own, says that Moxley's got what he deserved. You know, he called him a jacked up Captain Jack Sparrow, which I thought was a brilliant line, and says that he saw Moxley's mother backstage and she was looking fetching. Gets heat any way he possibly can. He said that, you know, he gave Moxley the keys to the kingdom, but Moxley just threw it back in his face, so he got what he deserved. He brings out the inner circle, and Moxley says he'll walk into another 5-on-1 because he's crazy and stupid, but he doesn't see it as a 5-on-1 because he was born in the great state of Ohio and everyone there is behind him. Obviously, Jericho says he's stupid like everyone in Ohio, so Moxley gets out of the ring. He's already out of the ring, and goes to go fight the 5-on-1 before it becomes a 10-on-1 after Street Thug friends from the Bronx of the PNP join in, and bit of a weird one.
Yeah, I didn't know who them 5 Street Thugs were. I was trying to figure out who they were as wrestlers. I didn't have a clue, but it was a good sort of beat down, and I mean, Jericho is a snivelling heel with friends in tough places, so.
And lots of power.
Exactly. His match versus Moxley is going to be a brutal one. I can tell you that much.
I would love it for it to be AEW's first steel cage match, to keep like the inner circle out.
Something about steel cage matches to me just it feels limited, because it's like, oh, the match ends, they leave the cage, and then they're just like stuck in the ring. But like a lights out match would be fun between the two of them. Say that much. Hello?
I completely agree.
Okay.
Whatever happens is going to be brutal.
Yeah, definitely.
Later in the night, we obviously got the Inner Circle going against and Darby Allin, or as Brad called them last week, the Emos and the Frat Boys. They won after Jericho hit the Judas Effect, and they had a post-match attack. Of course they did, and Allin took the most of it because he is a bit sadistic, and likes self-hurt, really. Moxley comes down and makes a save with a baseball bat and chases the Inner Circle off. So it's like Moxley's like the one-man hero in a sense.
Yeah, I mean, Moxley, of course, is, but he's like the Batman of AEW, isn't he? He's twisted, but he's an alter hero, if you get what I mean, like a twisted hero.
He definitely is. We also got MJF wanting to basically crumble the Elite into dust last night, because we had a brilliant video package of him and Wardlow, and into an abattoir, which obviously we found out was owned by the Butcher and the Blade, giving an envelope of money to the bunny, marked Young Bucks, and I assume it was full of cash. It was him saying, "Here, be my hitman, get rid of him." It didn't work. The Young Bucks won after hitting the Meltzer Driver.
Yeah, I mean, I'm getting a bit thingy with these sort of segments, like the Slaughterhouse segment. It's fun, but it's like it's just a bit too gimmicky at times. But yeah, I can see how they're incorporating the Butcher and the Blade a bit more, though, which was the biggest criticism of that tag team, that they weren't being used properly. So at least they've got something behind them now, which they can sort of push them forwards with.
Yeah, no, they do. The Butcher had attempted a post-match attack before Kenny Omega came down. I don't really think he did anything. Adam Page comes down with a beer in his hand, tells Matt Jackson, "Hold my beer," does a buckshot lariat, picks up the beer, drinks it, and buggers off. Yeah. Adam Page is the best thing about AEW.
Yeah, more of those beers, though. More of those beers. I'm telling you, it's becoming a bit of a thing for him now with his beers. He needs to.
He does, but it's just a hold my beer, hits a buckshot lariat, gets his beer, drinks it, and leaves. We got a backstage interview a little bit later on of the Bucks, and they just said they want to be on top again. They want to earn a shot at those titles and be the best tag team in the company. Adam Page comes over, showing off his new nameplate that's obviously been put on his tag title belt, and he gave that Young Bucks theirs because they made everyone's ones, and he said, you might need them sometime. Here you go, and just leaves. And we obviously found out from that next week we're going to get Omega, Pac, and the Young Bucks against Butcher, Blade, and then a tag team of their choosing, who I'm going to call it now. It'll be the Lucha Brothers.
Yeah. The Lucha Brothers, definitely. But what about Private Party or thingy, Orange Cassidy, Best Friends? Like, there's so many different tag teams they could choose. I'm hoping it's a debut of someone, but I can't think who they could possibly get to debut next week.
Maybe the in-ring debut of Wardlow, and they get MJ.
Yeah, I mean that would be that would be something incredible. Yeah,
and they'd actually keep a storyline together instead of sort of adding more people into it. Oh, fuck's sake! Well, I've just heard off air that it is the Lucha Brothers. Thanks, Matt. What was in my ear? Yeah. Well, I was right. It's the Lucha Brothers. I didn't think they were going to announce it. I thought they were going to leave it as a surprise. But yeah.
But the Lucha Brothers in an 8-man tag of any 8-man tag, though, is something that's going to be quite.
Oh yeah, I mean they've got a history with the Young Bucks brilliant. As well. So.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean AEW are one of those companies that don't forget about their storylines, which is great because obviously we watch these weekly. But like, say if you were to miss a couple, you could certainly just refer back to ones months ago and it'd still be applicable. Whereas in WWE, I've got to admit I don't watch like SmackDown or Raw every week because I watch these every week because these are two of the best shows in wrestling. But if you miss like an episode of Raw, you've completely missed the storyline. Whereas with here, they do a very good job of referring back to stuff in a quite a natural way. So, yeah, that'll be a huge bill for that match, I think.
Yeah, no, it will be. The only annoying thing about AEW and their storyline, sometimes they pile a bit too many into sort of the same place. Like they'll bring 2 or 3 together, and you're a little bit like, oh, hold on, where's this come from? What's going on, basically? But no, I agree with you. Their storyline. Their storytelling is brilliant, and it will hype up this 8-man tag match next week, and that will probably, hopefully, see. I actually reckon it'll be a heel win because Adam Page gets sick of the Young Bucks.
Yeah, I mean, Adam Page is teasing the turn, but he won't do it until Revolution.
Do you reckon he'll do it that early?
I can see he can do it at the pay-per-view because it'll be one of the biggest storylines in AEW, and I can see it also establishing the well-talked-about mid-card title that they've been sort of hinting at for a while now. But yeah,
what are they going to call it though?
The TV title, I assume.
Oh yeah,
because you can put that on the pre-shows. But I forgot what they call them now. The buy-ins. You can put them on the buy-ins.
The AEW Legends Championship rip-off to Impact Wrestling.
Aye, indeed. Anyway, what was next on the show, mate?
We got Nyla Rose defeating Big Swole in a women's match. We got Cody defeating Kip Sabian, which kind of just feels like it's burying Kip Sabian. Although I saw a brilliant YouTube video of Kip and Penelope Ford hanging around backstage waiting for Justin Roberts to come out so they can correct him on how to pronounce Norwich.
Yeah, I mean, Kip Sabian is because obviously because of fighting with...
He calls it Norwich. Does he call it Norwich?
Norwich.
Yeah. Norwich. Just don't pronounce the W.
It's referencing fighting with Paige. But yeah, I think Kip Sabian will be... it's being vastly underused. I agree with you.
Massively. Yeah. I remember watching him in where did I go? It was Ring of Honor, and it was in Bethnal Green. It was York Hall, and he had his opening match against Jonathan Gresham, and it was brilliant. Yeah,
well, I mean, I hope that they start pushing him soon because obviously Kip Sabian is one of the better talents they have, but it's just I can't care about someone that hasn't got any major matches or any major feuds going on at the minute. So.
No, I just thought about this. Wasn't there meant to be a mixed tag team match this week?
I don't know. I can't remember that far.
Wasn't it set up just on the cruise? It was meant to be Kip and Penelope versus Kenny Omega and Riho.
Yeah, that might be on Dynamite.
Oh, well, maybe. I don't know.
That
I might have been on Dark. I think it was on Dark.
Yeah, Dark. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah. Probably was on Dark. SCU defeated TH2. So seeing Jack Evans and Angelico was quite a surprise because we kind of forgot they existed and been on TV for quite a while. Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, I don't want to not miss out a title because she went ballistic on Tony Schiavone again because this is her character now. And she's just going to go nuts on Tony.
So much better. I used to, because obviously you can't watch both live, so I used to watch one on repeat. Whenever I watched the AEW on repeat, I just used to skip Britt Baker because she was generally quite boring as a face. But since turning heel, she's certainly stepped up a lot in terms of entertainment value. Yes, massively. She shoots a dark lipstick as well, which obviously if you're a heel, you wear dark lipstick if you're female. Yeah, well, she's more brutal as a heel than she's just a very bland baby face. She's quite good as a heel. Yeah, definitely.
TWM Podcasts have joined forces with WrestleCrate, the original and best monthly-themed monthly wrestling subscription service to bring you a fantastic deal. Now, if you use the code TWM Wrestling when you sign up to a monthly subscription at WrestleCrate.co.uk, you will receive a free autographed item inside your first crate. Now, WrestleCrate brings you the best swag from the biggest companies and names in the wrestling world. We're talking t-shirts, photos, pins, DVDs, vinyl figures, and loads more from WWE, Progress, Shakara, NXT, Fight Club Pro, and loads more. That's WrestleCrate.co.uk and use the code TWM Wrestling for a free autographed item, all thanks to WrestleCrate and TWM.
As always, we've got Brad bringing us what's going on for AEW next week because I always seem to forget to do it because I'm a little bit of a moron sometimes. I also forgot to mention that Britt Baker went ballistic on Jim Ross as well by saying he's got to get people's names right. Technically, that's very, very true.
Poor JR. Anyway, next week's matches look to be quite good. You've got Jon Moxley versus Ortiz. I mean, not really that excited for that match, but oh well. An 8-man tag match with the Young Bucks, Kenny Omega and Hangman Page versus the Butcher, the Blade and the Lucha Brothers. Yeah, that's going to be incredible. Britt Baker versus Yuka Sakazaki.
Yuka Sakazaki is back for the first time in a while.
She's never been on Dynamite.
No, she is. She was only, was it All Out?
I think no, Double or Nothing. She was in a 6-woman tag team match. Oh, she might have been. She might have been at that as well. Yeah, but she hasn't done weekly shows. She's only done the pay-per-view. So yeah, this is the first time many fans would have seen her, and yeah, definitely tune in for her. She's an incredible athlete. And Cody is also going to receive his 10 lashes from MJF next week.
I'll bet that. Oh, I can't wait.
But yeah.
Saying lashes. Something I completely forgot to mention.
Yep.
And I swear I saw it, and I can't remember. I've seen it, and now you've said it. They should remind me. Oh, that was it. During Jericho's beatdown, he whipped Darby Allin with his title. He whipped all 3 members of the opposition with his title belt, which is just horrible.
Yeah. I just love that how the main angle for next week is a rich guy whipping an owner of a company. That sounds like it could be on a website somewhere.
That does. It also sounds like it could be every dream that doesn't like their boss, and I wish they could do that. Definitely. Right. So, what did you see? I'm going to ask you who do you reckon won, but I think it's going to be NXT. AEW was a bit boring this week.
I think both weren't the best, and to be honest, but at least we got the Broserweights match in NXT. But I mean, it's just they need to step up their game. As you can tell from the way I was a bit quieter during this show. Like I normally am full of praise. I'm normally quite excited. It's just both bland sort of shows this week. I hope they step up their game next week.
Well, I mean, NXT are building to Portland because that is in, I think. No, that's after Revolution.
Yeah, that's like 4 weeks away, mate. 3 weeks away. It's February 19th. Yeah, that's ages away, mate.
Yeah, so NXT take over Portland, but they're building to it already. And that's on the February the 16th. And then AEW Revolution, I think, is the weekend after. So it's the 29th, sorry. So AEW, obviously, a little bit later. So they're not building to that pay-per-view yet because they've only got one match announced, which is obviously Jericho and Moxley. So NXT probably would be a bit more interesting in a minute because it's building to a pay-per-view that's a couple of weeks sooner.
Definitely, yeah. I'm just of the opinion that they both need to step up next week. They have both had better shows this year, even. And yeah, like the main event of NXT though was something amazing. So yeah, more matches of that quality, please, next week.
Definitely so. And that seems to be our favourite word at the minute because I've noticed we both say definitely very much. Well, don't forget to follow us on all the socials, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at TWM Wrestle. Subscribe to us on iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, TuneIn, Acast, Podbean, and YouTube. Go over and to your app store, whether it be Google or Apple, download the We Love Sport app, and you can find out where wrestling is being shown in your local area. And also head over to wrestlecrate.co.uk and use the code TWM Wrestling to get yourself a free autographed item. Brad, social media, please.
Oh, well, I'm at Brad Cassidy 170. I haven't actually done an article this week, so that won't be promoted. But you can see some of my stuff on the website. And currently on the website, if I were to go on to twm.news now, which you should do on your browsers, we've got at the top who are wrestling's most interesting bookers, the results for both of these shows, and quite a lot of news and some very amazing podcasts, 6 a week, I believe.
It is 6 a week. I was literally just about to say I got news, but you did it for me because we're just on sync. We're that good. We know what we're each other thinking. My article will be coming out at some point later this week over the weekend. It will be 5 dream opponents for Edge because if you can't tell by this podcast, I am ecstatic that he is back. Follow me on Instagram. Follow me on Twitter at George_Geal_, and I saw clearly and everything come to life. I love you all. See you later. Bye.